Now, last week we learned a story from our four characters who were Daniel, Hannah, Jason, and Detective Jeffries. Now, you remember Daniel found a skateboard and assumed that it was their classmate Zoe's skateboard. But then, Detective Jeffries taught them not to jump to conclusion until all evidences have been checked. So last week, the important principle we have learned from our lesson is not to jump to conclusion until all evidences have been checked. Now, I'd like to teach you a word today, and well, don't be surprised by this word because this is a big word. The word is naturalism. Now, I would like to teach you a word that some people use. This word needs investigation. Wow, a big word. What is that word? Now, this word is a view, or the word naturalism is a view that everything in the universe can be explained naturally, with only space, time, matter, and the laws of physics and chemistry. Well, the word says it's natural, meaning, according to this view, nothing supernatural like God can ever exist or cause anything. It's all there is. But can we really explain the beginning of the universe with only space, time, matter, and natural laws? Now, if naturalism can't explain something this important, why should we deny the existence of any natural or anything supernatural? So, let's look at this word carefully. This word assumes, or it means there's no intelligent cause to all the things we see around us. Meaning, all the things that you see are just things, we don't know, we're not so sure if they've been here for infinite number of years in the past, or they did themselves, or they created themselves. It means they believe that, well, naturalism believes that the universe created itself. Now, you remember, we have a picture last time, the skateboard. Do you still remember it? Now, can a skateboard create itself? Or a ball pen? Or anything? Could it create itself? Now, I want to show you something today. Here are my keys. You see that? You see this? These are my keys. And I will drop this. Okay, I want you to watch it. I will drop this. You heard it? Where did it go? Did it float? Or did it fall? Well, of course, these keys fell. And we have a law in physics called the law of gravity. So, if science calls it the law, then we should assume that there was a lawgiver who gave the law. So if someone who is powerful and intelligent caused the miracle of creating the material things, do you think it would be hard for Jesus to turn the water into wine? Or if God can create all the things we see, do you think it is impossible to make a donkey talk? Well, these two are some of the, problem of atheists and skeptics, or those who don't believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, those who don't believe in God. They would ask you, well, how can we explain that? Jesus Christ turning the water into wine? How is it possible? Can donkeys talk? Or even snakes talk? You remember? Eve was talking to a talking snake in the Garden of Eden. How is it possible? Now, I want to share to you a tool for your detective bag. Number one thing that we have, last week we studied don't assume, okay? Now I want you to have an open mind. Don't allow your doubt to stand in the way of the truth. And don't start an investigation assuming you already know the answer. Be open to the following evidence wherever it might lead. That's the first thing that you have to have in your detective bag. Now, there are two words that we'd like to learn today. The first word is assume. What does the word mean? The word assume means to suppose something is true without proof. Well, you could use the word like I assume that. All right, then make your assumptions. I assume that she was mad at me. I assume that she's a mean girl. I assume that she's a cheater. I assume that she's stubborn. All of these are just assumptions. You are just supposing that something or someone, or it is a belief or a claim that something or someone is, or what they are, or are they a cheater, or are they mean girls or boys? Yet you don't have any proof about it. That's what we call assumption. Now, what is presupposition? It is something you assume to be true even before you begin investigating. Now, these words are not good because before we conclude anything, we have to investigate first. And so, I'll ask you to do a bit of activity today. I'm going to show you a picture, okay? And your supervisors, okay, I'm going to show you the picture first. There. So how do detectives find the truth? Detectives find the truth by observation. Okay, now your supervisor would pause the video, and here's what you will do. Or you might pause the video and try to look at this picture, and I want you to list down some stuff that you could observe. You try to observe this skateboard, and try just write or enumerate or write all of the observations that you can do while looking at this skateboard. And after a while, let's see, because I did my assignment also, I did some observations also about this skateboard. Okay, are you done? Well, congratulations. Now, I said a while ago that I did my homework also. I did some observations about this skateboard, and here are some of my observations. Now, check if we have the same observation, okay? Now, my first observation or the possible answers are, well, the skateboard is leaning against a roll-up door. Do you have that answer? Number two observation that I have, the skateboard's wheels have minor scratches. Have you noticed that? Number three, its wheels are white with a little orange on the side with words on it. Or probably it's the brand name, okay? Number four, the board has a color like that of a wood. Did you see that? Number five, the wheels are mounted on an alloy metal. And lastly, approximately the board is ½ inch thick. Now I want you to look at your answers and look at my answers, and let's tally them. Probably we saw the same thing about the skateboard. Now, that's how we do observation. That's how we do investigation. And so, may I leave you with this sentence or this principle that I'd like you to learn, okay, as we embark in this lesson, because next week we will have a very important lesson. We are going to look at a cold case. Someone was killed. But some people are doubting about it. And some people are thinking that it didn't happen. Someone was killed, but I heard the news that he rose again. And so before we embark into this story, I want to read this first. Many explanations may be possible, but not every explanation is reasonable. Well, going back to the skateboard, well, a possible explanation could be an elf brought it there. Do you think that is a possible explanation? Or a fairy tooth brought it there? Do you think it is a possible explanation? Yes, it is a possible explanation. But the question is it reasonable explanation? Of course not. That's why many explanations may be possible, but not every explanation is reasonable. So, just hang in there. Next week, we are going to talk about my story a while ago, the story of someone who was killed, but after 3 days, they said he lived again. He rose again from the dead. And we're going to try to investigate. Is this true? Is this possible? Is this reasonable? Thank you, and God bless you all.